Hello and welcome to LLFtv, brought to you by the Landlord Law Firm. My name is Robert Chesson, Managing Partner here at Landlord Law Firm, and we look forward to sharing with you our news for this June edition of LLFtv. We've got a couple of items to share with you today. First will be a brief summary of the various legislative initiatives which we worked on through this past legislative session up in Hartford. And the second will be the idea of short-term leases and the impact of those by websites such as Airbnb and others like it. For those of you who have been following along these last few months, we've had a lot to say about the legislative session up in Hartford. The official session is in fact closed. They are still doing budget bills and funding bills and that sort of thing, which means we are still watching to see what's going on up there. They oftentimes slip things into those bills as amendments and the like, but we're paying attention to those. But I simply wanted to highlight for you a number of the various topics that we covered this session, where we spent some time up in Hartford trying to help advocate landlords' positions here in Connecticut. Probably the three largest bills that we had any impact on centered around the bedbug bill, the fair housing bills, and the ban the box bill, the one that talked about banning the ability to consider criminal background as a screening criteria. We were testifying with those. We submitted testimony. We participated in public hearings and managed to get those into places that were most favorable for landlords in the current climate up in Hartford. And while we've discussed those in prior LLFtv episodes, we wanted to highlight a few of the others that we actually got to touch on up in Hartford this year. Minimum work weeks, security deposits. We worked on legislation associated with smoke detectors, automatic fire suppression systems, and a number of others that were various smaller topics, but they were attempts to try to make your life as a landlord a little more complicated, a little more difficult to operate. We had a great time doing it. If you are interested in participating in that process, please reach out. We'd love to have you join us for that throughout the year. We'll be kicking back up in August to get ready for the session starting in January. So if you have any interest in working in a legislative capacity, please reach out. We'd love to have you join us. In our second story today, we're going to talk a little bit about what I like to call the Uber version of rentals, short-term rentals. Many of you are familiar with the concept of Airbnb and other websites that allow you to rent space, to host people, to rent your a bedroom or something along those lines. It's become a hot topic on a national level. It has certainly been brought to our attention numerous times here in Connecticut. And the question really boils down to, how does someone who wants to put their unit on Craigslist or Airbnb or some other website and attempt to do short-term rentals outside their own lease, how does that play out legally? Well, as is often the case, the first place we want to look is your lease. So make sure that your lease addresses the idea of subletting or assigning the lease. That will usually dictate the answer to most of the questions associated with the short-term leases. But some other issues that you might want to be considering that are being kicked around at the national level include the safety issues around people who aren't screened, who are coming into a community that you're otherwise trying to develop for your residents. And the other is local ordinances, local laws, and the issue of people subletting their space for on a short-term basis, and whether or not that violates those local laws. If you're one of the few who haven't run across this yet, congratulations, but keep your eyes out for folks who are attempting to list their properties, list their units, list their apartments on these websites, because in many instances it's a direct lease violation, and it's something that you can address legally right away as long as you're paying attention. Well, thank you so much for joining us here in this June edition of LLFtv. Again, my name is Robert Chesson here at the Landlord Law Firm. We've enjoyed having you.